So I heard on Twitter and Reddit about this quote-unquote sexist op-ed on Dr. Jill Biden, Joe Biden's wife, and it is so much worse than anything you're thinking. It's bad. Is there a doctor in the White House? Not if you need an MD. Jill Biden should think about dropping the honorific, which feels fraudulent. Even comic. I think Jay Epstein has a bone to pick. I totally think that the English language should have a separate word for the recipients of a doctorate and the recipients of a medical degree. However, that is the English language. There is no separate title that people use, so she has every right to go by that name. But already in the subheading, why are you calling out one specific person? That's so weird. I get it's because he wants to like spark outrage and hit trendiness, but it's just so weird from the top. Madame First Lady, Mrs. Biden, Jill, Kiddo. Do you know how creepy it is for a man to call a woman kiddo? Calling any adult kiddo when you're an adult makes you an asshole. Anyway, let's finish the sentence. A bit of advice on what may seem like a small, but I think is not an unimportant matter. Oh great, this guy writes like Ben Shapiro, so he's gonna say a lot of stuff and really say nothing. Any chance you might drop the doctor before your name? Dr. Jill Biden sounds and feels fraudulent, not to say a touch comic. Your degree is, I believe, an EDD, a Doctor of Education earned at the a Doctor of Education. So your first two sentences, your opening is calling her a child, a joke, and a fraud because she goes by the title of doctor, and then your third sentence, you say that she is in fact a doctor. Through a dissertation with the unpromising title, Student Retention at the Community College Level, Meeting Students' Needs. How is that an unpromising title? Don't like most people who go to college, especially community college, drop out? A wise man once said that no one should call himself doctor unless he has delivered a child. Do fucking dermatologists deliver babies? Also, if I'm on like the bus alone with a woman, I don't know why I'm on a bus alone with a woman. The woman's a bus driver. Check my own bias, we got this. If I'm on a bus alone with a female pregnant bus driver, she starts giving birth and I deliver the baby because, I don't know, we're snowed in. It's a Hallmark movie. I'm not a doctor. I'm still an idiot. I'm just an idiot who delivered a baby. One thing I learned from this article is that Epstein is definitely a flexible man. How do I know that? Because the second and third paragraph involves him sucking his own dick for about 10 lines. And that's, to do it for 10 lines, let alone one, that's just plain impressive. So the second paragraph is him saying that he doesn't have a doctorate. Okay, so you really shouldn't be weighing in on the situation. Whatever. And then the second and third paragraph is about how people called him doctor. And those people were scientists. Dog, you're a fucking writer. You're full of shit. Absolutely no one, especially someone in science, is calling a writer doctor unless they absolutely have to. Let's be real for a second. And let me guess, they called you doctor and everyone clapped. I've seen this meme template on Reddit. So is this satire you're going with? It feels like satire. I like satire. The next paragraph is basically him saying that PhDs used to mean a damn, but now they don't. And, oh, conveniently, Jill Biden, you got your PhD after it really counted. He also makes the point that apparently in order to be worthy of being called doctor, you should be fainting from stress. Yeah, that happens in Japan. Doesn't Japan also have like one of, if not the highest suicide rates in the world? And then he basically proves that the whole point of his op-ed was to go into pretty unintelligible rant, because now he goes into Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers. At Northwestern, recent honorary degree recipients and commencement speakers have included Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers. You know, Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers, two of the most successful people in the entertainment industry of our day. I sent a complaining email to the school's president about the low quality of such men as academic honorads, with the result that the following year, the commencement speaker and honorad was Billie Jean King, who... How is this sentence so long? Write shorter sentences! This is the part where I say he's a really self-important prick. One, they have their own late-night talk shows. That's like the hardest thing to do in the industry. Except maybe write a sketch on SNL without complimenting Lorne Michaels in some way. That might be a little harder. I digress. Yeah, no, Epstein, let me tell you what happened. The guy gave you his email because he didn't want you to have his phone number and he didn't want to meet you face to face. You emailed him, he didn't read it, And then he changed the commencement speaker for different reasons because, you know, he wanted to go in a different direction that year. But I love the implication of like, oh, this woman only got her honorary doctorate because of my intervention. Why are you going into detail about honorary doctorates? What do they have to do with Jill Biden? He then goes into a rant about political correctness and adds a touch of racism. Wait a second. I won! My bingo card! Oh my god, let's see what I've won! I have to edit this video and put it up. Well, that's not a good prize. I have to do that anyway. If you are ever looking for a simile to denote rarity, try rarer than a contemporary university honorary degree list not containing an African-American woman. Because African-American women are only getting honorary degrees because they're African-American women, not because we're starting to actually recognize the accomplishments of African-American women at higher rates than before. For the first time, Epstein, I'm going to say, you know what? You're right, champ. You got this. You're right. This whole paragraph, even the casual racism, you hit it on the money. What does that have to do with Jill Biden? So now that Epstein has made no point about Jill Biden since the very beginning of this article about Jill Biden, this means that he's only just getting started, right? I mean, he has so many points to make about, you know, Jill Biden. Nope, this is his conclusion paragraph. I think Epstein is under the false impression that every time he uses a comma in the same sentence, for in this one, I think he thinks I'll stop referring to him as, you know, J. Epstein, but I won't. Forget the small thrill of being Dr. Biden and settle for the larger thrill of living for the next 4 years in the best public housing. Oh my god, this is horrible. Forget the small thrill of being Dr. Jill and settle for the larger thrill of living the next 4 years in the best public housing in the world as First Lady Jill Biden. Forget about identifying yourself through your own accomplishments and instead look forward through identifying yourself through the accomplishments of your husband. And in correction, Seth Meyers received an honorary doctorate from Northwestern. An earlier version misidentified him. Okay, good. It's good to make sure you have corrections when you realize you're wrong. I have one more small one for you. Here are my notes, Jeffrey Epstein, J. Epstein. You made absolutely no point whatsoever. There were 2 separate op-eds that you just smushed together. Your language is plainly sexist, and the fact that you criticized political correctness does not change that. Because at a certain point, you know what political correctness is called? Respect. And the one thing that I really learned about you, Epstein, is that you have absolutely no respect for anyone, particularly of the opposite gender. But, well, I guess it's just in the name, isn't it? But before he goes into his drama. And then let's focus. Come on. Is that my face? Are we focused? Is that focused? That's focused.